Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Wahab, Rakak, Kodash. Also want to give double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom. Much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out there that's laboring in his work, continually and diligently pushing out this gospel in all truth, faith, and sincerity. So yeah, what you're witnessing is the so-called white man, Esau, being confounded, all right? He's losing his luster. When you consider the climate here in America right now with these different shootings, whether it's the Las Vegas shooting or the most recent, with the Florida shooting, 95% of these shootings that's covered by the media is nothing more than a false flag, man. And why is that? What's the reasoning behind these false flag shootings? Is to further Esau's agenda, man. All right. Whenever the so-called white man look to establish their agenda or further, their agenda or pass legislations, they do it in the form of violence. When you read Genesis, the 27th chapter, it tells you how the so-called white man blessing will be the sword. Meaning when this man look to do anything, he's going to resort to his attribute, man. This is how this man rationalized things out. Even on a global scale, when they look to go into these different countries and take their resources and establish their so-called democracy and set up embassies, well, they create a boogeyman, all right? So it could be done by war. So this devil never been able to sit down and diplomatically settle things, man. He revert to his instincts, which again is the sword. And alongside the blessing of the sword, his main attribute is deception. And the reason why I say this devil is being confounded and he's losing that luster, he's losing that power, so to speak, of deception, is because you got men on the planet, the true men of the Lord, who are spiritually invested in these scriptures, who could see right through these false flags, man. You even got people out there who are outside of this truth, even amongst Esau. You got these so-called, what they call conspiracy theorists who know that this is set up by the so-called white man, like Alex Jones and these different guys, Dabu 777. Well, they were set up to by the Most High to actually expose this devil, man, along with us, all right? Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept before we get into this lesson. The book of Psalms, the 64th chapter, in the 8th verse, it says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away," right? So this is dealing with other so-called white people exposing, the government, the Illuminati, that shadow government, all right, and putting them on blast. Again, which come in the form of these, what they deem as conspiracy theories, man, and whistleblowers. So all this is the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, but mainly the men of the Lord, we are not taken by these feeble attempts of the so-called white man, because what this devil is doing is conditioning the mind of the people. So they can be in the spirit of, we got these random shootings. We need to get a more of a heavy, Salakia, more of a heavy law enforcement presence. So you people is going to pretty much welcome in martial law, all right? You're going to feel protected, not understanding that martial law is pretty much the bridge to the New World Order, all right? Nevertheless, we, primarily here at Great Millstone, we see right through the feeble attempts of the so-called white man. With that, let me get a quick precept, book of Numbers, the 23rd chapter, in the 23rd verse. It says, "Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob," right? And Jacob is dealing with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But in this case, the elect, the men who the Heavenly Father was gracious and merciful enough to restore us, with wisdom and give us the proper understanding of these scriptures. So no enchantment, is able to stand up against us, man. All right? Which, again, this is one of the attributes of the so-called white man, the enchantment of deception. All right? It says, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what have the Most High wrought? So from now I want to go to the book of Psalms, 119th chapter, and 110th verse. It says, the wicked have laid a snare for me. Yeah, and that snare comes in the form of the media, which when you go into that word media goes back to medium, which is a form of witchcraft, man. This is how they're able to affect the psyche of you people, man, through the media. And you see it, man. It's played out like a sitcom, man, like a TV show, all right? For an example, with these shootings, I know for a fact with the Las Vegas shooting, and even it was glimpses of that in this latest shooting, within an hour or two of the shooting, they are already releasing the police call, the police call that go out over the radio. And they just play it out like a form of TV, man. And you people sit back at home and you eat it up. They play out the dramatics. You hear the dramatization, you hear the drama over the radio. We got a live shooter. Man, come on, man. If you know anything about law enforcement or you watch these, like First 48, man, the cops don't release information like that, man. It could compromise the investigation, man. So how come, and how do they be able to access that information that quick? Here it is, an hour of the shooting, and the media is playing a snippet of the police call, man. All right? You already got witnesses on deck saying what they saw, and it's played out with dramatics. See, these devils are slick, man. When you consider TV, which is a form of deception, well, this is how they play out these coverage, this coverage of the media, man. All right? So again, it says, the wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I err not from thy precepts. Right, so the men of the Lord, we're not going to be taken by that snare. Why? Because we understand the scriptures. We know who the enemy are, pursuing the Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter, and the 10th verse. And we don't trust him, man. Every time this devil make a move, we look at him with eyebrows raised, man. All right? So from now I want to go to Proverbs 13th chapter, in the 9th verse. It says, the light of the righteous rejoiceth, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Yeah, and the lamp of the wicked goes into their understanding, which again is what? Deception. This is how this devil rationalizes everything out. But the scriptures say the light of the righteous rejoiceth, and you notice that this is simultaneously. So while we are being restored with the wisdom is being taken from Esau, which is a clear form of a transition of power. It's clearly telling you that we're going to be the next rulers of the planet, man. When you go into the time of Moses, when Pharaoh and his wise men, they threw the staff on the ground and it turned to serpents. Well, Moses and Aaron threw their staffs on the ground and they serpents devoured Pharaoh's serpents, which was symbolic to our wisdom is going to trump the wisdom of the so-called white man. You go back 15, 20 years, then maybe the so-called white man could have got over on us, man. All right? But now we are awoken to the devil and his tricks, all right? His enchantments. This is Obadiah, the 8th verse. It says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Right, which again, you so-called white people, your biblical nationality is the nation of Edom. You're the Edomites. So the Lord said he's going to destroy the wise men out of Edom. And you see how these devils, they struggling to come up with a format to pretty much take us off the street. When you see these false flags, and Esau, anything Esau do, they pretty much doing it in attempts to silence the men of the Lord. That's why you see they subtly throw, the word YouTube and Facebook up, You know, they go into these guys' accounts so they can paint the picture of, look, we got to silence these guys with their own agenda because it can ultimately blossom into violence. When this devil is the most violent creature on the planet, man. But see, the way the Lord have confounded them is our movement, if you will, is non-violent, man. We don't have a standing army. We consuming these devils with pure words, all right? The truth is somewhere of kryptonite, you know, to this devil. It's raid to these roaches, spiritual raid, all right? So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. What you're witnessing is these devils being confounded, and you see them struggling to try to, you know, bring forth their agenda, but it's we that stumbling block, all right? So, shalom.